Welcome to Taya Mini Reads, Reviews, Discusses, Monologues about everything and anything and adds on, period. Okay, so happy to be here. I'm gonna talk about some of my best reads in 2024. Yes, we're in 2025, I understand, but give me grace. This is my I'm just starting YouTube, so we gonna talk about 2024. Okay. And so, the first book that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to bring her up on stage. Come on. God Killer by Hannah Kenna. Kenna? I'm not saying that right. The synopsis of this book is about a world that has been destroyed by gods. So it's like a mythical Vikings, Greece kind of like gods in that sense. And they used to be, there used to be gods in the earth, but then there was a war, and then the gods fought with each other using humans as their, should I say slaves, not slaves, but to fight for them. And so most of the gods were killed. And for a god to become, a big god, so there's little gods, there's small gods, there's medium gods, there's big gods. For a god to become a big god, it depends on how many people pray to the god. So praying to the god increases their presence in like the human realm, let me put it that way. Anyway, so this is a world that has been ravaged by gods, and so because of that we then have this people called god killers who actually kill gods at the infancy stage, the little gods. So this book follows Kissen, who is cursed. From the very beginning we kind of read that whole part, and then she goes on to be a god killer, and then she gets entangled in a like a scheme which has to do with freeing the continent Midden from the from being manipulated by the gods. So it's a trilogy. There is Sunbringer, which is the second book, and the last book is Fate's Breaker. It's coming out this year. This book was really good. It didn't lean too much into the fantastical elements. It was just like straight up, this is what's going on. And as you can see, it's a really small, it's a short book. It's not really big, but it was very enjoyable. I liked the characters. I liked Kissen. Kissen came off as really tough, tough as nails, main character, and she did fantastic. So, I'm waiting for Fate Breaker to come out later on in the year. But yeah, this was a great book. Yeah, honorable mention for this book. So, next book I'm going to talk about is da, 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 da. I actually wore it to match. Akatar or a court of dun 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 dun. Dun. Okay, so this book I'm gonna talk about a court of thorns and roses. Akatar. Akatar is a very well-known book. Everyone has heard about it, some way or the other. It's been out for a couple of years now, and it's one of those very hyped books. There's about six of them in the whole world. Like it's it's not a duology. It's like more books. Like it's like six of them. That's what I mean. But anyways, this was like my first Fae inspired book. I haven't really read Fae books before. I know about them, but this was really good. It gives like a Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs kind of fantasy, um, retelling kind of vibe. Not the Seven Dwarf parts, but mm, it was really interesting to say the least. So there's this girl. Her name is okay. So the name I Fire. It's I don't know how to say the name. Fair. Let's just go with Fair. Fair is 19. She kills a wolf in the woods, and then Faye drags her to the Fae world because apparently there's a treaty and humans are not supposed to kill the Fae. The Fae are not supposed to kill the humans, and so she comes to find out that the Fae who captured her is Tamlin, and he's like a prince. So the Fae lands are divided by different courts, and Tamlin is, he's the prince of one court, right? So the book is kind of like insta love, because she kind of gets to be in Tamlin's presence. Like the next 2-3 chapters, she's already falling in love, and like, dude, come on. He literally kidnapped you. Like you're captive. You can't go home. You can't see your parents. But no, she's all there like, oh Tamlin, oh, do you like me like this? I'm exaggerating. But no, this was really good. I went on to then read the whole books in the world. The whole books in this set in this realm. And put it that way. You have a card of Mr. Fury and the likes. And I read it all to the end, so I really enjoyed it. It's definitely not young adult. It's more adult. It's more mature. So uh it's explicit in some ways, so not definitely I wouldn't recommend this to someone younger, but it was a really good read. I enjoyed it, and I see the hype about Sarah J Maas. People are really expecting her to bring out new books in the series. I hope she does. I will definitely read it, but yeah, this was a good book. And so I'm gonna go on to my next read that I really loved, and it was da 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 was The Trials of Empire by Richard Swan. So this is part of a trilogy. The first one being The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan, and it it follows a very interesting premise where a person can be judge, jury, and executioner. So we follow Sarah von Volz. Von Volz is a justice, a king's justice, right? It gives you like a medieval kind of vibe, and then there's dark arcane arts going on. Like they have this priest that some of them worship other beings, and those beings are not particularly the good beings. Anyways, Servant Vault is unraveling a a plot to overthrow the king, and he's on good terms with the king, and so he's very invested in trying to figure out what's going on. The story is told from the point of his assistant called Helena Sedanka or Sedeka. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. But I just thought that this was very interesting premise for a book, imagining that one person is, the law, and they are free to do whatever they deem is right or is fair. And that leads you to think about, is that person, what's their motivation? Because what if they're, non motivated in the right way? Obviously they're gonna, mete out um how do I say, sentences that are, unfair or whatever. So it's a really good book. It's morally, Servo Vault is morally great. He's not like the good guy. He's not, hey, here's the cavalry. But I was rooting for him. I really wanted to see him succeed. And it was slightly horror. Like there were some elements that, I felt a chill down my spine. I was like, ooh, okay. But this is the concluding book, and it was like the whole trilogy did not suffer from like second book syndrome or whatever, like first book. No, the whole books, all of them were great. I will actually probably do a more in-depth review one day on the three of them, but I really enjoyed this book yesterday. It was one of my most anticipated books, and it did not disappoint, and I'm so happy because he has a new book coming out 2025. I already pre-ordered, so and the new book is actually in the same world. I think it's called Grave Empire. So I'm definitely gonna be reading that, and I'll come back here and do a review on that book as well. So one of my top reads in 2024. I think I rated it 5 stars because I didn't want to let them go. It was such a good book. But yeah. And then the last book that I'm gonna talk about The Will of the Many. Okay, so The Will of the Many, we're talking Chosen One. It's given like I think a little of Red Rising. It's also given like um it's like a Greek. It is actually Greek inspired. I think. I don't know. I hope so. But yes, this book is very, very interesting. Why? I love the premise of the book. So the book is about, your will, ceding your will to someone. You know what that means is my will to live, my will to, you know, eat, or my will to exercise, or my will to go to work, that kind of thing. So they have hierarchies where there's like levels. It's like a pyramid scheme where you have the lowest people, and then they cede their power to the next person in the pyramid scheme, and then the next person and the next person and the next person. So you can tell how powerful each person is based on their level. If I say, I'm not gonna say the exact word, but let's say I'm a Septimus, that means I have power seated to the power of seven or something of that sort. So the main character is called Viz Telemus, and Viz is very annoying, right? He's the kind of character that you're like, don't do this, and guess what? He does exactly that. So, but he's young, and I get it. But it's very interesting because it's not really told per se, but it looks like his family was, targeted, eliminated, something like that. He comes from a rich family. Their family was taken out. So he is not supposed to exist. No one should actually know his real name, right? And so then this dude, so he grew up in poverty. He grew up in an orphanage. He had to dumb down himself, not to really shine, show his true talents and stuff. And so he meets this guy, Septimus, and um, that dude is like, I know, what you can do. I've seen your talents. I'm gonna sponsor you to go to this magical school, and I want you to explore or find out why XYZ happened. So that's really the premise, and he gives him, some motivations of why he should do it. And so Viz is like, okay, fine, I'll go to the school. And what like he goes into some very dangerous stuff. He does a couple of dangerous things like jumping from a literal spaceship into the ocean and finding his way. I mean, that part was I felt like that part was insane to me, but whatever. But The Will of the Many was very, very interesting, very fascinating. I love the premise. I love the world. I'm super excited because The Strength of the Few comes out 2025. So there's no actual release date yet on Amazon. I checked it, but I will definitely be buying me a copy. I think it's gonna be yeah, it's a trilogy, the Lycanus trilogy. Or yeah, it just says Hierarchy Book One, but no, I'm sorry. Lycanus trilogy is his first, the author's first, or it's one of his books. Actually, this is Hierarchy Book One. So I know it's going to be a trilogy, and I can't wait. A lot of people read this book last year, and a lot of people were like, oh my God, this book is fantastic. So it's not overhyped, it's just the right amount because it's a very, very good book. So I hope you guys enjoy. Read this. Let me know your comments in this comment section below. Let me know if you love my videos. Please like, subscribe, share my videos, and I'll be back with. See you guys in my next video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.